Let's go to a Bill in Boca Raton. Hey, Bill, what's going on?
Not too much. Enjoying the warm weather in Florida just like you, except on the other coast.
Perfect, man. Perfect.
Yep.
Do you listen on the internet right now?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool.
No, I enjoy that. That's in your Tiger TV and everything. I've been watching you for years, and you've really taken this whole programming to a level that's just phenomenal.
I appreciate it.
And now, here's Tom O'Brien.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Tom O'Brien Show on TFNN. Of course, I am not Tom O'Brien. My name is Ken Shreve. I joined the TFNN team in late April, so it's my pleasure to be hosting hour number one of the Tom O'Brien Show today. Hour number two is going to be handled by my colleague David White, author of the Technology Insider newsletter at TFNN. I joined TFNN in late April, like I said, and I write the Ultimate Growth Stocks newsletter at TFNN. I launched the letter in late April. Like I said, it's a growth stock newsletter. I use a combination of fundamental and technical analysis. Manage a model portfolio with the newsletter, and I send out a weekly update every Tuesday with email buy and sell alerts in between. So, again, my pleasure to be hosting the Tom O'Brien Show today. I have my own radio show on TFNN. If you haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, the show airs every Tuesday and Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern. It's called Breakout Investing with yours truly. All right, the number to use to get through is 877-927-6648. The market is rocking. It looks like with the gains today, the NASDAQ put a finishing touches on a 7.5% weekly gain. The S&P 500 up 6% for the week, and the Dow up 5% or so. Volume, gotta say, very disappointing today. Big percentage gains by the market. Why don't we just take a look at the final closing prices here? Pretty much had to finish up near the highs today. The Dow up 166 points, call it 1.5% to 11,644. The NASDAQ up almost 48 points, 1.8% to 2667, and the S&P 500 up almost 21 points, 1.7% to 1224.58. Don't forget, when I'm going over charts on the program today, you can look at the charts right along with me on Tiger TV, right on the homepage of TFNN.com. I believe that's on Channel 1, and that way, again, you can look at the charts right along with me. So I have a chart of the S&P 500. Interesting that the bogey did clear a resistance level today at 1220. It did it in pretty light volume. Yesterday on the New York Stock Exchange, a paltry 895 million shares traded hands. And actually, it looks like NYSE volume today is actually going to come in below that level. At last check, it was about 10% lower than Thursday's levels. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ real quick. Interesting, the NASDAQ also cleared a key resistance level today, 2643. It did it in light volume. And for those of you that listen to Tom's show, when you're taking out swing points in light volume with no conviction behind the buying, it's always something to pay attention to. That said, you can't argue with the market's strength since it's come off the October 4th lows pretty darn hard. So you had the NASDAQ clear a swing point today of 2643, and again for the week, the NASDAQ up 7.5%, the S&P 500 up 6%, and the Dow up 5%. Let's go ahead and take a phone call. Again, the number is 877-927-6648. First call of the day is going to be Chris in Orlando. Wants to talk Lululemon Athletica. How are you today, Chris?
Great. Thanks for taking my phone call. I just want to see what direction Lululemon is going to be going, because I pretty much exclusively trade Lulu. I just kind of want to see which direction it's going to be going. It's been kind of nuts lately.
Yeah, Lulu is trying to hang in there. On my breakout investing show that airs every Tuesday and Thursday, I tend to talk a lot about these aggressive, growth names like Lulu. Lulu is a type of stock that I target for my Ultimate Growth Stocks model portfolio. So it is a stock that I'm still watching. But what I'm seeing, Chris, with Lululemon is what could be. It's kind of a wild, wide and loose consolidation here, but it could end up being, what the folks over at IBD call a double bottom pattern, where you have a resistance level. It's still 6 or 7 points away from this 61.80 price level, but today it did manage to close above its 50-day moving average. That's a positive. The thing with Lulu, like many other growth names and really the market in general, Chris, is that, as you probably know, there's just been no volume at all behind these upside moves, and that's a concern, because when a stock starts to retest its former high and starts to show price strength, you like to see some accumulation behind that move. Haven't seen it at all in Apple. Haven't seen any of it in Amazon. I'm not seeing it in Lulu and a lot of other growth names. So it concerns me a little bit. But Lulu is not acting too bad. It could see a little more upside if this Nasdaq keeps going. And again, the breakout point, the swing point that you'd be looking at would be around 61.80.
That's beautiful, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Okay, Chris, thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
All right. Next up, I think we have Stan on the line in New Hampshire. I was born and raised in Rhode Island. My family lives outside the Boston area. I live in California now, but I have a lot of ties back on the East Coast and New England specifically. So let's go to Stan in New Hampshire. Has a question about the QQQ and the QID and some of these index ETFs. How are you, Stan?
Great, Ken. Thanks for taking the call. I've been trading the Qs and the QIDs, and I got stopped out of the Qs today when it went over 1220, and I was waiting to buy in at the end of the day, but it didn't break the 1220, so I haven't done anything. My question is, I was looking at numbers last night, and I thought that the QID was double inverse of the Qs. In other words, the NASDAQ 100 were the Qs, and the QID was a double NASDAQ 100 on the reverse side.
That is correct.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, I went back to today's closing, which was 58.22 on the Qs. And on July 28th, the closest number I could get, the Qs closed at 58.17.
Okay.
On the 28th, the QID closed at 47.94. And today it closed at 43.71. I just wondered why that was.
The
$4.20 difference, plus the Qs paid a dividend of 10 cents after that time. And I was questioning. I never really noticed it till today. I was looking, I went, wow. So
yeah, I'd have to kind of crunch the numbers here off the top of my head. I know that the QID tracks twice the inverse price and yield of the Nasdaq 100, and the QQQ is not a double inverse. It's just tracking the price and yield of the Nasdaq 100. So I'd have to kind of sit down and take some time to.
Okay, I was surprised. That's all.
Yeah, it is. I'd have to just kind of look at it, but maybe I can address that on my show Tuesday. So are you long? You got stopped on the QQQs? You said?
No. I got out of the Qs when it went over 120 and came back down this morning. I sold out, and then I was waiting to buy the QIDs at the end of the day if the S&P broke below the 20 level.
Oh, I see. Well,
the 1220.25, and I thought I was going to buy them, but then all of a sudden it took off again. So I'm going to wait till 12. Looks like 1229 before I get back in. But I was curious why there was a $4 difference. It's a big number.
Yeah, no, off the top of my head, I don't really know. Maybe another listener would be able to enlighten us there. But I'll tell you, my thoughts on the QQQ, I worked 12 years for IBD, so I like to buy price strength. And, the issue with the QQQ right now is that even though it did stage a technical breakout this week over that 57.35 swing point, it did it in no volume at all. So, again, when you're passing a swing point in light volume, that is reason reason to be a little bit wary. As far as going long the QID, I mean, we are seeing some mild accumulation in this market, and I would be cautious, going short this market prematurely because, listen, I mean, stocks have clearly found a bid since October 4th. I mean, there hasn't been volume behind the move, but I would wait for some meaningful signs of institutional selling before going short this market with conviction. There seem to be a lot of buyers around now, and not too many sellers. That's that's generally my take on both of those.
I agree. Like I said, I just day trade it, so it's not whatever it does, it does. I was just concerned about why it would be down so much money. $4 lower than it was on July 28th at the supposedly double inverse of an index. So basically, it just hit me. I said, geez, let me see if I can find that out.
Okay, well, sorry, I can't help you there.
That's all right. That's
okay,
fine. I appreciate your input.
All right, have a great weekend.
Thanks, Ken. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thanks, Stan. All right, Stan from New Hampshire. So yeah, I mean, basically you have the QID, which if you're a bear on the market, you're gonna buy that and get twice the daily inverse return of the Nasdaq 100, and the QQQs, which frankly showed compelling technical action this week. The problem was the missing volume, and that is an issue. And I've been talking till I've been blue in the face on the lack of volume in this market. I remember people saying, "Well, wait till Labor Day, and once people come back from vacation and." You'll start to see volume come into the market, and we'll see these, 2.5, 3 billion share days on the Nasdaq, and I mean, the volume is still missing. The bottom line, the lack of volume in this market just tells me that there's still money on the sidelines that is hesitant to come in for whatever reason. Maybe it's not convinced that third quarter earnings season is going to be up to snuff. Maybe it's not convinced that the situation in Europe hasn't fully played out yet. But I think with Google's results that we saw late Thursday, I think it bodes well for a lot of great earnings reports, not only in the Nasdaq 100 but across a variety of sectors. So, all right, let's keep moving here. The volume again on the New York Stock Exchange and Nasdaq looks to be lighter. Nasdaq volume should come in pretty close to Thursday's levels of around 1.6 billion shares. Remember, average volume on the Nasdaq, an average day of volume on the Nasdaq is 2.2 billion. 2.2 billion shares is an average day of volume on the Nasdaq. Yesterday we had 1.64. Today we're going to have close to that as well, even though, again, we had a 1.8% gain for the Nasdaq today. NYSE volume today lighter than Thursday's level, which was very light at 895 million shares. Breadth in the market has been improving. The folks over at Bespoke Investment Group noted recently that the 77% of S&P 500 stocks are now above their 50-day moving averages. So that's a good sign for the bulls, and we'll see where it takes us. That's the highest level since the April highs. You're listening to the Tom O'Brien Show on TFNN. My name is Ken Shreve. We'll be right back.